15 to 30,000 in your e-fund. Can you really do that as a truck driver? I'm gonna show you coming up next how you can make between $15,000 to $30,000 saved in your savings being truck driving. Let go. Let's talk about it. I got the hookup. Holla if you hear me. Let go.
I got the hookup. Holla if you hear me. I got the hookup. Holla if you hear me. I got the hookup. Holla if you hear me. I got the hookup. Holla if you hear me. I got the hookup. Holla if you hear me. I got the hookup. Holla if you hear me. I got the hookup. Holla if you hear me. I got the hookup. Holla if my life as a thug, but girl, you know I need you.
Woo! Welcome to another edition of On Point Trucking Concepts with your main man, LoShawn Parks. You could have been anywhere else in the world, but you're here with me, rocking out with me. And I do appreciate that. You guys are rocking out with AK, kind of a big deal. And my new one here, okay? You guys know I used to call myself Internet Problem, but I got a new one. I'm the Internet Professor. Yeah, that's what I'm rocking with. I'm the Internet Professor because I'm bringing y'all knowledge on trucking if you guys are here to learn about trucking. So this is going to be more for the guys that are looking to saving their money and figuring out other ways to save their money, okay? But the information that I put out is information to help those that need help and guidance in trucking. And that's what I'm gonna do. So today's video, we're gonna get into it. We're gonna break down numbers on how to put certain numbers into a e-fund. For those that don't know what an e-fund is, it stands for emergency fund. But I'm going to explain to you exactly what an e-fund is, how one works, and what you can do to grow your e-fund. A lot of people will look at an e-fund like it's a maintenance account. You can look at an e-fund in different ways. It could be either a maintenance account, it could be a savings account, it can be a vacation account, it could be whatever you want it to be. In a nutshell, it's a savings account. So I'm gonna tell you guys today exactly how you can save anywhere between $15,000 to $30,000 a year into your e-fund. And the way that this can be done is simply by mileage. Solo drivers should be doing somewhere close to about 100,000 miles a year on your truck, okay? If you're teaming or you're training, you should be doing somewhere about 200,000 miles a year on your truck. That's solid running, okay? 100,000 miles for a solo driver doesn't mean that you're out every day of the year, 365, 7 days a week. I stay out 6 to 8 weeks at a time. I come home for a full week, and then I go back out 6 to 8 weeks, and I come home for a week. I found myself being able to do that as a solo driver and doing 100,000 miles. Okay, I found as training and doing teaming that I could do 200,000 miles. So with those base numbers, those are going to be the average. Those are going to be average numbers we're going to work with. Okay, I'm not going to really work with what if you only make 90,000? Then you just got to plug in these numbers to what you're making. I mean, how many miles you're making a year, and then that's pretty much what you're going to be at. But I'm going to do these numbers off of OTR, over the road truck driving, and what the average is for a solo and what the average is for team or team training or what have you. And with those averages, like I said, you should be able to save 15,000 into your e-fund a year if you're solo, and about 30,000, give or take, if you're teaming. Now, if you do like I do, where I only train in the spring and summer, okay? I'm only going to be training spring and summer. And then winter and fall and winter, excuse me, I don't train, I just solo. So then my number is going to fall in between there. So I'm actually going to range somewhere about 20,000. I just don't train in the winter and the fall because I don't go west of I-35, for those that know me. I don't go west of I-35 in the winter and the fall. It's just, to me, with the mountains that they have west of I-35 and things like that, and I don't go above I-70 in the winter either. I just don't want to get into the mountains. The money's not worth it. I don't want to, I don't want to get into all that. But what we're going to do now is I'm going to flip the camera around. We're going to get on some paper. I'm going to grab some paper, and we're going to show you exactly. We're going to pull the calculators out if y'all need to. This is the time to pause the video, grab your calculator, grab your paper. I'm going to break down exactly how much I put into the e-fund. At the end of the year, you should have these ballpark numbers. And then also I'm gonna drop another jewel for you guys about in the leasing game. In the leasing game, if you do this at the end of your lease term, how you can end up taking that money plus your lease bonus money And then if you want to, and you're into trucking, go out to the dealership and have a down payment to buy a truck. That's if you want to. It just depends on what mind frame you're in. So without further ado, man, let's get into these numbers, man. Let me break it down for you guys and give you guys an example of exactly what I'm talking about. There you go. All right, guys. So we're back. Let's understand this here real quick. Before we dive into our calculator on these numbers, let's just read off this paper real quick. So just follow along with me right now, and then I'll break the numbers down for you. If you want to go ahead and pause it right now, I'll go ahead and stop this right now, or you guys, or I'll freeze it for about 5 seconds so you guys can take a look at what I'm talking about. All right, and we're going to go over this anyway, so you guys can just follow along if you're driving or doing what have you. All right, so a solo driver, you should average as a solo driver 100,000 miles a year. Okay, that's on the average for a solo driver. You should make 100,000 miles a year. All right. Now, most companies are giving solo drivers, whether your lease or your company, you're going to average somewhere between 2,500 miles a week. Okay, that's on the average. Whether your lease or your company, you're going to average as a solo driver between 2,500 miles a week. All right. Now, step one is that we want to take 15 cents per dispatch mile. Now, a lot of people are asking, what is dispatch miles? Some people think that dispatch miles is their deadhead. You have to remember that you do not want to include deadhead miles in this, okay? Do not include your deadhead miles. Only thing that you want to include is dispatch miles. A dispatch mile is from the shipper to the receiver. It is not deadhead. So anytime that you're calculating this, you're taking it from the shipper, the mileage that they're paying you from the shipper to the receiver, okay? So if you get to the shipper and it's 1,000 miles to the receiver from the shipper, then that's the number you're going to calculate with the 15 cents. Step two, this process can actually be done with a minimum of 1,923 miles a week, okay? So I'm sitting here, I'm telling you that most companies are going to give you an average between 2,500 miles a week, but you can do this 15,000 a year as a solo driver with a minimum of 1,923 miles a week. Step three is you're going to take 15 cents times 100,000 miles. This is just a short way of doing it, just to show you guys real quick. 15 cents times 100,000 miles that you should make as a solo driver in a year, and you come up with 15,000. Okay. After a 3-year plan, if you're doing a lease like Prime, for the refrigeration side, their plans are 3 years for refrigeration and 4 years for flatbed. I'm not sure about tanker, but I know the lease plan is 3 years and a 4-year if you're going to do a lease. All right, so if you do a 3-year plan on the refrigeration side and you do solo, if you stacked up this money like I'm telling you to do, 15 cents for every dispatch mile, and you're averaging 100,000 miles a year, which you should easily do, you'll make $45,000 at the end of your lease that you have saved up. As a flatbed guy, 4-year plan, you should have 60,000. All right, now this number, this 45,000 is just what you have saved in your e-fund from doing 15 cents for every dispatch mile. Now, mind you, if you're in a lease, you're going to be turning that lease in, so you're going to be getting some more money on top of that for the end of your lease deal. All right, which starts off at 20,000 and goes down. Which, unless your truck is A1, it's going to be hard for you to see that 20,000. So you may see about, after maintenance and wear and tear and stuff like that, you may see, 12,000. So you can add 12 or so on. But the point of this is that you're going to be able to add more money to this number right here. And at the end of your first lease plan, 3-year one, you'll have 45,000. At the end of your 4-year one, if you're flatbed, you'll have 60,000. Now you can take that money right there and go purchase a truck. Or if you wanted to, at the end of your lease, if you still have a lot of warranty left on it and you really, really like that truck, you know everything about that truck, just go ahead and take this money right here out of your e-fund or your savings and just go ahead and purchase that truck right there. You know what I mean? You'll be able to put this money down, and Prime will cut you, or the Success Leasing, shall I say, will cut you the title for it. Or if you don't want to do that, take this money, and if you want to go buy a brand new truck or the truck of your dreams, a W900, whatever you want, the big boy joints, you have the money to go do that. All right. This is a plan to follow to help you after your first lease is up, for you to decide if trucking is for you, and for you to decide if you want to go to a dealership and buy a truck. You know what I mean? You have the money already saved up, but it comes with sacrificing in time. All right, so let's get into the numbers of this, okay? We're going to look on the calculator. I'm just going to give some examples because a lot of people they don't like to really just see it just written down. They want to see it worked on the calculator. So I have no problems with that. So let's do it like this on the calculator. All right, so it's 52. So we're going to figure out how I came up with the 1,923 miles a week that you need. All right, so we're going to do solo drivers should do 100,000 miles a year. And we're going to divide that by 52 weeks in a year. Okay, as you can see there, every week, if you get 1,923 miles every week, then you'll hit the number. Okay, now for guys like myself, that I stay out 6 to 8 weeks at a time before I come home for a week. So I know you guys are probably like, well, what about vacation time? You're giving me numbers that show that I'm out every week. Okay, I'm gonna show you when I'm out 6 weeks. I'm gonna do a 6-week one. Okay, I'm not gonna do the 8-week one because that's on the high end. I'm gonna show the low end. You know what I mean? For the guys that want to do on the low end, 6 weeks. Okay, so if I'm averaging 2,500 miles a week, right? That's what the company should be giving me, is about 2,500 miles a week. All right, so every 6 weeks I'm out. I go home for a week. I go back out for another 6 weeks. I'm home for a week. So when you do the calculations, I actually get like 6 weeks off out of the year, right? So I'm going to take away 6 weeks from that 52, which is going to give us what? 46. So now what I'm going to do is, if I'm averaging 2,500 miles a week, I'm out 46 weeks out of the year. That's how many miles I actually put on my truck, okay? That's how many miles I put on my truck. And this is dispatch miles, okay? Like I said, deadhead, the company's never going to include the deadhead in, okay? They're only going to include what's dispatch miles. They don't pay for deadhead miles unless, like I said, they pay for dispatch miles, okay? So I would average 115,000 miles in a year. So now if I'm doing 115,000 a year, I'm 15,000 over the average mark for a solo driver. So that's 15,000 more that I get to put in my pocket. So you guys already know that you're putting that 15,000 already in there, right? So let's get our 15 cents and let's times it by additional 15,000 that we got. You put an extra $2,250 in your pocket, in your savings, in your e-fund. So now you go from 15,000 plus 2,000, what was it? 2,000, let's just say 2,000. I can't remember the number off the top of my head. I didn't see it. But now you can make $17,250, okay? That's simply by putting 15 cents in your pocket for every dispatch mile. Do not include deadhead, okay? So I just showed you guys right there, with me running 6 weeks out, taking a week off, running another 6 weeks. That means I'll stay out for 46 weeks out of a year, and I can do 115 miles, or 115,000, excuse me. All right. Now, like I said, after 3 years, after my 4-year plan with the flatbed at Prime, I would have 60,000, right? And that's just off the 15. But remember, I do an extra 15,000, so I get a little bit more. You know, you can get a little bit more. I'm just showing you guys here as for the solo drivers, even with you taking time off of work, running 6 weeks, being home for a week, a whole week, and then going back out 6 weeks, being home for a week, that these numbers are very, 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 very easy to do just by saving 15 cents, putting 15 cents away in the e-fund. All right, let's take a look at the team side now, okay? This is for like team side and for training, okay? Team side and training. All right, so now as a team driver or as a trainer driver at Prime Training, which basically your truck is a team, you should average about 200,000 miles a year, okay? You're gonna double what a solo is. Pretty much everything is gonna be basically double of solo when you're team driving or training driving. But for instance, like myself, I only train in the spring and summer. I don't train in the winter and the fall. I don't want to train during hazardous weather. So I don't do it. So that's why I said at the end of the year, my numbers be like 20,000. They don't beat 30,000 because I don't do the full team thing for the whole year. But you do the same exact formula. You take 15 cents for all dispatch miles. Do not include deadhead. Once again, that's the first step. Okay. 15 cents for all dispatch miles. Do not include deadhead. I can't stress this enough, guys. All right. Next step is, as a team, you can do a minimum of 3,571 miles a week. Okay. So As a team, you should be able to do like 5,000 miles in a week with any company as a company driver or lease operator, own operator, whatever you want to say. Everything is double. So from a solo, so if a solo can average 2,500 miles a week, then as a team, you should be able to average 5,000 miles a week because that truck does double of what the solo truck does. Minimum of 3,571 miles a week. All right, so here's the math. 15 cents times 200,000 miles, which will equal $30,000 a year. Okay, after a 3-year plan, you'll have $90,000 saved up. 4-year plan with flatbed, $120,000. Whenever I'm training, I train my student for 6 to 8 weeks, right? Then I take my week off. Or if I'm solo, then I go 6 weeks and I take my week off. But if I'm training, I normally do 6 to 8 weeks whenever he's done, and then I take my week off. I still end up having, 6 weeks off out of the year. So nothing is different. All right, we back. All right, I hope you guys was able to understand that, learn it. If not, rewind the video, take it back to the paper part, pause it, take a look at the paper, understand the numbers, okay? Trucking is all about numbers game, and it's best that you do understand the numbers in trucking, because if you don't learn the numbers in trucking, you'll get lost in the sauce. I think that's pretty much going to wrap it up, man, for the day. I told you guys that this video was going to be a great one. This is very, 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 very self-explanatory, okay? If you're out, for most people as a solo driver, if you're trying to make money, especially if you're in a lease deal, you should be out 6 to 8 weeks at a time, okay? All of this going home every 3 weeks or going home every month, you're hurting yourself. You're hurting yourself and you're hurting your family, okay? I'm not trying to reinvent the wheel. But if y'all follow my formula and stay out 6 weeks, go home for a week, go back out for 6 weeks, I showed you guys on the calculator what you can do, okay? And that's on an average of at 2,500 miles a week. Now I told you, you can do the minimum of 1,973 miles and still hit the 15,000 a year for a solo driver. All right. So just some food for thought, man. You guys do it. At the end of your lease deal, you'll be able to have that money to go buy that truck. Okay. Like I said, I hope this video is informational for you guys. If it's able to help you, I'm glad. If it ain't able to help you, don't comment. Don't leave nothing stupid like, whoop-de-whoop-de-woo, because at the end of the day, what you eat don't make me shit. I've told you guys this before, and this is the formula that I'm using, and I'm very successful in it. And this is the formula that a lot of other drivers will not give you. They won't tell you guys this, how to start stacking back money, and then you're living paycheck to paycheck, and you may be stacking back too much in your e-fund. Oh, some people might be putting $600, $700, $500 in their e-fund, and that you're putting too much into your e-fund. Now you're having to dibble and dabble in there to pull out for bills and stuff like that. So there you go. Also, a lot of people want to ask me, can this work for a company driver? It can. You get to a company that has, let's just say, for instance, Prime, they paying 41 cents, okay? You take out your 15 cents. So you'll be making 26 cents a mile, but you're putting 15 cents towards your saving, right? So then maybe after 3 years of you being a company driver, now you can go out and purchase your truck. You see what I'm saying? But this is a good way of saving money while you're on the road being a truck driver, okay? Excellent way of saving it. And you don't even have to actually see it, especially with Prime. They just take it out, 15 cents every mile. They take it out of your settlement, then they just cut you the remainder. And I think that's really, really cool. But, company guys can do this. Lease guys can do this. Owner operators can do this. Anybody can do this. If you're out on the road and you're driving and you're making a cent per mile, just take 15 cents out for every dispatch mile that you have. The rest of your settlement that you get is your money. That's when you know if you're living above your means or not. When that settlement comes out and you save that 15 cents away, right? And then your settlement comes and you have $800, $900, and you need to pay your bills, and you're not able to pay your bills, that's something you probably want to start thinking about, that you're living above your means, and you might want to downsize on some stuff. Just more food for thought for you guys, man. I'm about to skedaddle, man. I'll holler at you guys next weekend. Hope you guys be safe. Don't do nothing I wouldn't do, like drive illegally, all right? I'm about to go enjoy this Memorial Day weekend with my family. And until next time, y'all be safe. Deuce.
You do what you want when you pop it.